everybody out there on YouTube. We are the Middle Age guys, and we are going to be continuing our review for all the episodes of Young Justice, going all the way through until Season 3 Outsiders finally comes out. Let's get the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
In this particular video, we're going to be reviewing Young Justice Season 1, Episode 5, entitled Schooled. This particular episode aired originally back in February 4th, 2011. So, again, like I said in previous videos, this is an episode that is like 7 years old. So, if you're expecting a spoiler warning, yeah, all right. We're going to do a real quick synopsis, and we're going to cover 3 particular talking points. Number 1, what we liked. Number 2, what we didn't like, or if we had a choice, what we would change. And number 3, what did we notice this time now that we've seen the episodes multiple times that acted as a setup or a hint as to what is coming in the future, you know, deeper into the series. All right. The quick synopsis for this particular episode goes that it starts out with Superboy meeting up with Superman, helping him subvert a disaster on a bridge in Metropolis. And although he hopes that Superman is going to sit there and actually warm up to him, or at least actually acknowledge his fucking existence, Superman goes ahead and he gives him the cold shoulder and sends him on his way. He shortly arrives back at Mount Justice, and what happens is that after a little training session with Black Canary, her first official training session with everybody at the base and everything, he kind of learns rather roughly that, you know, just being a powerful person isn't enough to go ahead and actually hang to do this type of work that they're doing. What type of work? Well, they're promptly called up by Batman. They're given a mission to go ahead and escort parts for the android Amazo to be shipped off to 2 different Star Labs locations, one in Boston, one in New York, and they're going to be acting as decoys or escorts for the trucks. Turns out the trucks get attacked, the parts for Amazo get stolen, they get taken back by Ivo. Superboy gets separated from the rest of the team. He gets separated. He just leaves, really. He's just pissed, and he just flies, you know, really just rushes headlong into danger. Finds Amazo. Amazo promptly starts kicking his ass in Robin's high school in Gotham City, and all of the other team members, they go ahead and they gather up, you know, at a key critical moment during the time where they're about to be defeated by Amazo. Superboy starts thinking about, okay, I'm not just a battering ram here. I got to think about what the situation is. I got to control it, just like the very short lesson that he learned from Black Canary earlier in the episode. He turns the tables. They barely get out of there defeating Amazo, even though Amazo took 8 of the members of the Justice League all the way to the brink. And they come back to Mount Justice after being debriefed on the situation and everything else. Superboy finally comes to terms with, okay, maybe it's not just me. Maybe I just don't have to. Maybe it's not enough just to be a genetic weapon. All right, have superpowers and everything. I actually have to have the skill to go ahead and use my powers correctly. And in a little bit of turn of fate, a little learning moment, he actually starts opening up to Black Canary, the next person in this whole series that he's actually being personable with. All right. And that pretty much is where the episode leaves off. Was there anything I missed, gentlemen, on this particular one so far?
No. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much a synopsis. So let's go ahead and start our talking points. First thing we're going to talk about is that in this particular episode, what did we like? Gentlemen, the floor is open.
Superboy. You know, the way he interacted right after his confrontation with Superman, when he got back to the cave and Jean showed up, Martian Manhunter, he wasn't too thrilled about that because he saw every sidekick that was available at the time interact with their proteges. And you saw Superboy. He was not happy. He was not cool about that because his protege, the guy he's supposed to be, as you said, Reverend, gave him the fucking cold shoulder.
Yeah. Mentor, you mean? Mentor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, mentors. Yeah, right. Yeah. Sorry, I misspoke. Same thing with Robin and Batman. When Robin was guessing, wait, who was it? Tia Morrow? Good guess, Robin. You saw Superboy again. Like, I hate all this. It was kind of a stage with Superboy where it was one of his low points, and then his evolution started to begin from there. That's one of the things that I picked up on, and that's one of the things I actually like. Gray Mouse, what about you?
I was going to make this almost the same talking point, but I like the development of Superboy being that he's finding himself in this episode. I felt how he fits in as a team, or part of the team rather. And like the Reverend said at the beginning, was that he's not just a genetic weapon. Like they said at the beginning of the episode, or episode 1. Genetic weapon, the weapon. And I actually like the comedy in this one was top notch as well. Of course, Robin always has to go into his, take disastrous and change it to that was dis. I feel a bunch of dis or asterisk, just making up these words. So the comedy was there as well. All the team had, a little bit of, I laugh out loud type of comedy in this one, I felt.
I do have to say that the highlight, or the one thing that was brought to the forefront, like you guys have both pointed out, was the fact that, they concentrated a lot on this is an issue that Superboy has to deal with. And at the end of the episode, he did come to a growing moment. He did change a little bit, with that single line, "I'm ready." When he talked to Black Canary, it showed that he changed. But the one thing that really stood out to me in this particular episode, and it's really funny because maybe I'm just weird, or maybe I'm just an audiophile when it comes to dialogue and stuff like that. But the most intriguing thing in this fucking episode didn't involve any sort of action at all. It just involved Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent sitting in a fucking cafe waiting for food to come.
I was going to point that out too.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, from the very beginning, we need to talk. And right after everybody leaves, before Superman can fly off, he puts his hat on his shoulder. He's like, "Wait, I told you we need to talk," right? And he's sitting there, and he's giving him the whole spiel. And the funny thing is that it's me reaching for a little bit. When Bruce Wayne sits there and says, "Look, I know this comes as a surprise to you. Believe me, I can relate." It kind of hints that maybe he knows about Damian Wayne or something else like that happening, also in his own history or something like that. But when he sits there and he tells him, "Hey, look, how he came about, where he came from, you have to put that aside right now. Mm-hmm. He is here, and you have to deal with that." And then Superman, Clark, he's like, "No, I don't need to be around." He's like, "That's what you're here for. I just remind the kid of everything that he's not." And then right when Bruce Wayne says, "Look, the boy needs his father," Clark Kent jumped up. It looked like for a second there, like he wanted to level the whole fucking cafe. It was like, "Fuck this shit. I am out of here. Don't saddle me up with this kid."
Yeah, and Clark Kent bolted. It was funny how Bruce Wayne was going to be the almighty voice of reason when it came to dealing with the whole situation with kids and fathers.
Yeah, when it came to being a parent, being a father figure.
I find that scene very personable, though, actually, because it was Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, not Batman and Superman. Yeah. So it brought it down to a different level. Like, look, the capes are off. Literally, let's just have a talk. He, believe whether you like it or not, he is your son.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Clark Kent's perfect. Matter of fact, I'll take that. What was it? Dessert.
Yeah.
Take that dessert to go. That blueberry pie.
I'll take the apple pie to go. Thank you. Because the way he stood up and he just got up, it was just done.
The words hasn't even left Bruce Wayne's mouth yet, and Clark Kent was standing up. I was like, "Damn, that was quick." He's like,
that was just the instant rejection of the whole situation and the whole conversation. Look, Clark Kent wanted to hear none of that.
Yeah, and the thing is about it, it's just like I said, it's really funny because this particular episode had a lot of action. There was a lot of shit going on, but the one thing that stood out to me most is just these two guys waiting for a fucking order at a cafe, talking about random shit, pretty much.
I think the opening sequence was very symbolic of what the episode is going to be about, because you have the Golden Gate Bridge, I guess.
Well, it's in Metropolis, so
Metropolis, whatever, right? You have the bridge coming apart, and Superman on the bottom, and then Superboy comes off the top of it and jumps in there, and you could feel and then afterwards, Superman reprimanded Superboy,
Yeah.
What if, it didn't happen, but what if it did happen? So there was some friction there, and that set up the whole episode. So I like that part too as well. Sorry to throw that in there.
It was that whole part about, I don't know either. Maybe we could figure this out. Maybe you could help me figure this out. And his whole response.
It's rejection. It was rejection. Let's not be complete 100% rejection.
We don't know the extent of your powers. He's like, well, maybe you can teach me that.
Yeah. It was complete rejection. It was rejection of even at that cafe, at that dessert.
But it was just the funniest. It was funniest part of the rejection. It's like, wait a second. Okay, wait. As far as you know, he's Kryptonian to a point.
Yeah.
Who else is going to teach him about Kryptonian things?
Yep.
Besides you, Superman.
Yeah, and they haven't mentioned anything about Kara, Supergirl, at all in any of the series at all. So, I mean, the only other Kryptonian that's left right there is at this moment in time is definitely Superman. But yeah, like I said,
what does crypto count?
No,
Batman.
Batman threw out some insults too, man. Talk about Kryptonian heads or little thick.
Wait, because because even at the end there was like complications come with the job, and you have to impress the league, and Superboy's like the whole league.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and this is definitely something that's going to be a running theme throughout the series. Well, let's go ahead and let's go on to our second talking point. All right. Now that we watched this, we watched this this episode multiple times and everything. Was there anything that stood out that you didn't like, or if you had a choice that you might change?
Okay, so at the beginning, I understand that Superboy and Superman had to have a confrontation of some sort, but as soon as that bridge was breaking down, well, what do you know? Bruce Wayne is up in, one of his buildings, and he's going to pull out his bat suit. And I'm like, what the fuck were you going to do? You thought so you were going to pull out your suit, put that motherfucker on, go get there in time in order to save the bridge? I didn't quite get that. But before that could happen, Superman shows up and Superboy shows up, so it saves Bruce Wayne the trouble.
Yep.
I mean, he could have just sat there and called one of the league members, or even called Superman at that point.
He pressed that button inside that bus, and I think that's what alerted Superman to get there.
No, that shifted the whole shit. He was about to put on a uniform. He called Superman afterwards. He could have called him before all that shit.
Do you think he'd be connected to that button? No.
That button was a callback to Batman 1966. Exactly. That was something that I loved. But
exactly. That's the point I was making.
We're talking about stuff that we didn't like so much, or something that we would change. What about you, Gray Mouse?
Okay, so for me, I may be the oddball here, and I'm probably get a lot of. Anyway, fuck what do they call disclaimers? What I didn't like about this episode was that I felt that Amazo and Izo, what's his name?
Dr. Ivo.
Dr. Ivo. I felt that was just thrown in there just to have the guys go and fight somebody, because it really didn't lead anywhere to a point. I mean, I felt like it didn't really progress the storyline too much. I mean, of course, it got Superman or Superboy to think that to work outside the box, but I just felt like up to this point that I just felt like maybe they had to throw an enemy in there to have them fight the enemy, because I didn't really see any purpose for it. Like you were saying before we even started, this episode felt like a standalone. Like, you don't really need to know too much about the previous episodes, and it didn't really lead into other episodes that we haven't already seen before, such as the relationship between Miss Martian and Superman. And, I mean, there was one instant in there, which was the Arrow, which wasn't Speedy. It's actually, anyway. So, yeah, I kind of felt like it was just thrown in there, like, okay, so they're fighting this doctor who's a robotic genius. I just felt like it was just, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm going to get tore up right here in a second, but that was just my feelings on that.
I can see if you're sitting there, you're going through it. It feels a little tacked on, but that does actually refer to something later on in the another episode that's coming up later on in the season. So that one, not so much. I would have to say that my biggest gripe with this particular episode was that, okay, I know you're hurt, all right, and I know you're wounded deeply, but fuck, chill, dude, just chill. The amount of fucking teenage lost puppy angst from fucking Superboy was just it's just through the fucking roof, all right? Which I will say that it did serve a purpose, though, because when it comes down to the end, like I said, he has that learning moment where everything, where he sits there and he finally, after he stops being an angry fuck, okay, let's just be truthful here, all right? He spends 75% of the episode, or actually more like 90% of the episode, just being an angry, solid. He spends it being Henry Cavill from fucking Man of Steel and fucking Batman v Superman, all right? Okay? Let me put it that way, all right? Fucking hate being Superboy. Why the fuck I gotta be Superboy? I'm never gonna be Superman. I ain't got no dad, all right? The fucking Man of Steel, he didn't have two dads, all right? Fucking, all right. But that's, oh man, I could go on a tangent.
Well, what really broke that home was that the doctor actually said the same thing to the guy. He's like, "You're not really part of the Shield or anything like that." That pissed him off even more, man.
When did Superman have a brat? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't. I was like, damn.
Does it?
Like
one thing that I didn't like was Amazo.
That's what I was saying. I just
wait, but here's why. Did he have to announce everybody that he mimicked?
Well, not at all times. He did say, well, he announced their names, but
no,
like Access Superman.
People say access most of the time, but then he'll cut to their.
It was fucking annoying.
Martian.
That's why that was one of the things that I was saying, is like I felt like that fight was just there for them to fight. I didn't see any purpose there except for building, Superboy's, to have him realize that he is part of a team, that he needs to start thinking outside the box. Like,
there was another introduction to the team, because like an arrow goes flying through. Saving Kid Flash, and they thought it was Speedy. Well, at first Robin thought it was Green Arrow. But then thought it was Speedy, and that leads up to something else or someone else.
Actually, that'll bring us to our third talking point. Okay, now that we've seen this particular episode multiple times, because this particular point is something that we're gonna bring up right now. Is that what sort of thing did you notice this time around that's actually lends itself as a setup or a hint for storylines or other episodes that are coming in the future?
That was one of them. The Green Arrow flying through Amazo. we haven't seen the last of Ivo, even though now they're capturing him as high priority.
Yeah,
That's a couple of the things. Gray Mouse, what did you notice?
The building relationship between Miss Martian and Superboy. I actually generally felt that she was concerned, when they were on that mission with opposite, you know what I mean? When was it Miss Martian talking to Aqualad saying that, what's up with him? It's obvious that she's interested in Superboy. It's because she feels what something's not quite right.
Flash, dude, just
souvenir.
No, it's just that he just wants Miss Martian, and she's clearly not fucking.
Oh, he even tried the old girl, man.
Yeah, he even
like, Black Canary's gonna.
Yeah, when he hit on Black Canary, that was actually really funny. I think the one thing that the two things that really stood out, and you guys have already touched on it, was the Arrow showing up, which hints that somebody else is going to be helping the team out. And yes, no, it's not Speedy, and no, it's not the Green Arrow. All right, but it is a protege of the Green Arrow. That's going to join the team really soon. And then the whole thing with Dr. Ivo is that he becomes very instrumental in actually finding Dr. Tio Morrow, who we already know has been tied up with and is deeply entrenched with the Red Tornado and the whole Tornado family, which is something that's hinted at, way into the future. All right. I can't remember whether or not the Light is deeply embedded in actually trying to get a hold of the Amazo technology, though. Maybe that's something I'm remembering incorrectly, but
actually, later on, the Light does play a big role into just about everything that's going on.
That was because of Volcano, or what was his name?
Yeah, Dr. Tio Morrow and Red Volcano, yeah.
Red Volcano, yeah. So the Light is involved.
Okay. Yeah, so he's not so Amazo isn't completely removed, and he's not completely random as far as being thrown in there. But I can see where my gripe with the way that Amazo got taken down was the fact that he took 8 members of the Justice League. It took them 4.5 hours to go ahead and take him down. All right. And they were able to take care of him in less than 20 minutes. Yeah. All right. Well, Superboy was able to figure it out and be able to take care of him in less than 20 minutes.
Well, the thing is, though, on the Justice League's defense was that the Doctor wasn't there. That Amazo was the only. He was fighting Amazo. They figured out the way around it, that the Doctor was actually there.
Go after the Doctor.
They went after the Doctor. So you can't say that, man. I understand what you're saying. I know what you were doing, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it should have felt like they were fighting the whole of the league by that time.
Instead of Amazo accessing one by one. It's funny because he did access Black Canary and he threw Superboy. That really clicked.
Yeah.
In the Superboy after that had happened.
Well, he got hit twice. He got hit by her Sonics and then got thrown.
No, but it was the throw that really did it.
Oh yeah, that was like a big middle finger right there too.
Like what the fuck? After all of that, judo throw
again?
Yep.
By one of her skills? What the fuck is that? That's
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, overall, I got to say, though, this particular episode, even though it does feel like it can stand alone by itself, it does connect very well with other things. And like I said, putting aside the Superboy angst, all right, the super angst, that was present in the episode, it does actually serve a purpose right at the end where it comes to a point where he's like, okay, I am figuring this out, which, guess what? The transformation between him at this point and episode 5 in season 2 is like fucking night and day. So we know that there's definitely growth in the character.
So the question I got is this: do you guys feel that it was the appropriate amount of time for Superboy to find himself? Because it seems to me like, I mean, we're building up here, and I think moving forward to episode 6. They've become this team now. You can see that.
The build is still going.
do you think that in this episode, because I mean, Superboy is pretty much night and day, like you just said, for the beginning, and then at the end of the episode, he's almost like he's like the Eureka light bulb. Do you think they did that too quick?
No,
I don't.
All the pieces aren't fit just yet.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that too quick for the fact that there's still more than enough episodes for them to fuck up like dumb teenagers. All right, and that's believe me, we're only on episode number 5 out of what 24 in this particular season. So yeah, there's still a lot of room for them to do really stupid teenage shit. But yeah, I think at this point this is a good point to go ahead and wrap this particular video up. Yeah, it's well I can't say it honestly any other way, you know, because that's the biggest difference between them and their mentors is the fact that they're coming from a spot where they want to do a lot of things, but they don't quite have the understanding and the control to be able to do them the best way possible. All right. Yeah, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this particular video. You know, this is our particular review and our thoughts on Young Justice Season 1, Episode number 5, Schooled, which aired out on February 4th, 2011. You know, what we really want to know, folks, if you come with us all the way up until this point, thank you very much. What are your thoughts on this particular episode? In fact, give us your thoughts on this video. Are our reviews off base? Is there something that we overlooked? We want to know. You can let us know by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, mash on that like button, mash on subscribe. We always appreciate it when you do, and we like those little numbers ticking up. Believe me, we do. With that, we are the Middle-Aged Guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this particular video. All of our bullshit on Schooled ends right here. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Gray Mouse 1.
All forms of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. Credits.